the scariest part about what we're talking about today is now we have young people thinking that it's okay to, one, that these injections are great, two, not knowing anything about them, three, getting them off market, off label.
Gray market, yes.
This is even like I'm not one for the pharmaceutical industry. And if you look at the clinical trials with Ozempic, funded by Novo Nordisk, financed by Novo Nordisk, authored by Novo. The whole study is set up by the company that.
It's all incestual. Yeah, it's all internal.
And that is known. That's not any speculation. This is proof. Like, it's there.
No one seems to care. No one seems to care about all those things. Why not?
But you see, the thing is, Tone, there's money to be made in this. This is why we're seeing all these people going after this now, because they see that, okay, people are making a fortune out of this, and I want a piece of that pie. Yeah. And we are live. Welcome to another episode of the Carnivore Evolution podcast. Today we have a very, very special guest, the myth, the legend, the man himself, Tony Stewart. I would consider Tony one of the best coaches in the carnivore space. I would consider Tony as a very, very good friend. And I think when he speaks, you guys need to listen to him. He speaks very, very well. He's only took on a new project now in the last couple of months about the GLP-1s. I would encourage most of you go over to and watch his YouTube. He actually does this on TikTok as well. This is what we're actually going to talk about today, because this is a huge problem in the world. Myself and Tony have spoken about this openly on our other podcast. Victoria has gotten involved in these conversations as well. So sit back, guys. This could be a very, very interesting conversation today. So, Tony, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. And I think this is something, maybe it's been in the making. Maybe it's the universe talking to us about the things that are going on. But it's actually frightening. And not to minimize any situations. I know everybody's got to live their lives, but this stuff is. You could argue that it's getting out of control, and specifically with, what they're doing with stacking them. So, yeah.
Yes. And buying them illegally.
Yeah.
And you don't know what the heck you're getting. Yeah.
I mean, the main reason why I wanted to get you on today, Tony, is because we're seeing an awful lot of people in the world now, and they've been sponsored by them, and they're using them now on their platforms, and they're using them to sell them now. And it's just, I'm pretty sure you know who these people are. There's a lot of celebrities out there that are doing this. And like I said, me and you have had this discussion in the past, and we're totally against it. And we just think it's the wrong message, because and I know that this can be done naturally. And I just think that this is going to lead to major, major problems eventually. I don't think people understand that this can be done naturally. I just don't think a lot of people want to do it naturally, because a lot of people want this just quick fix. They want it now, but they're not willing to wait a couple of years. Let's say if they are obese. I mean, we only had Jim on the other day. Jim was over 500 pounds at one stage. He's lost over 250 pounds, but he's done it in like 2 years. Now, 2 years is a long, long time. Whereas if you go on the GLP-1, you're more than likely going to lose that weight probably in around 6 months. But that's not normal, guys.
Yeah.
6 months, 250 pounds of weight loss in like 6 months. Jesus.
Well, it's a fad diet, actually. Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy.
The most I got to be careful how I say this, because I don't want to give people false hope. But Mark, you're absolutely right. Like, even if you're on one of these injections, you still have to do the work. Like, this is where it blows my mind, where, you have somebody who's morbidly obese, diabetic, different context to somebody who's wants or can't lose 20 pounds. And the celebrity side of this is it's just being inundated. Like it's okay, with no thought about what the trade-offs are or what the repercussions are. And, I hear doctors, we've heard, we decided not to mention any names, but there's some doctors online that are saying some truth. And this is the problem, is the 95% truth. It's the 5% that's not being said that is the most important thing. You have a doctor saying Ozempic is better than your natural GLP-1. That is completely ridiculous, because the context is completely removed. Yeah, it lasts longer, but what is GLP-1 supposed to do? And since I've been digging into the research, it is frightening. They're the longest study they've had of like semaglutide, which is the Ozempic, the actual drug name,
Yes.
was 4 years. The cohorts were all comorbid, heart disease, obese, I think over 40. That was this lasted for 4 years, and there was a 16% dropout rate because of catastrophic failures, and there was death. So
Really?
when these people that are arguably, they want to lose weight for the vanity side, for the perspective, that was not studied. That was nothing to do with what this was. So yes, these drugs work, but how do they work? Why do they work? And what are they actually doing long term is not studied. And if you guys know this too, where's the exit plan? People get wrapped up into this. It becomes a psychological thing. We have Ozempic face. It's a thing. We see it.
Mm-hmm.
So where does it lead? And this is the scariest part about what we're talking about today is now we have young people thinking that it's okay to, one, that these injections are great, two, not knowing anything about them, three, getting them off market, off label.
Gray market, yes.
This is even I'm not one for the pharmaceutical
awful.
industry. And if you look at the clinical trials with Ozempic, funded by Novo Nordisk, financed by Novo Nordisk, authored by Novo, the whole study is set up by the company that
it's all incestual. Yeah, it's all internal.
And that is known. That's not any speculation.
Oh, yeah?
This is proof, like it's there.
No one seems to care. No one seems to care about all those things. Why
But
not?
you see, the thing is, Tone, there's money to be made in this. This is
course.
why we're seeing all these people going after this now, because they see that, okay, people are making a fortune out of this, and I want a piece of that pie.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate now.
And you remember, like, if you just look at the progression of these drugs, when they were starting to study semaglutide, which was from the Gila monster, by the way, like this is
yes.
They noticed that there was a molecule that why they could not eat for so long, and it was like an observation. So they isolated the compound, and what people don't understand is this is not GLP-1, the GLP-1 receptor agonist. So basically. What this is, and we're just talking about Ozempic, which is one molecule, one pathway. You ring the doorbell, you open the door, you deal with the meeting, you invite them in or you send them on their way, you pick up your package, you close the door. Well, a GLP-1 receptor agonist that lasts 7 days, the doorbell rings, you open the door and it's open. Now what happens?
It's a fire hose. It comes right in and it keeps coming.
And what happens when the environment changes? It might be sunny out when you open the door, but what happens when it starts to piss down rain or a hurricane comes along? This is the metabolic status of somebody's health is greatly affected by this. So all those doctors that are saying, well, it's better. No, it works longer on the receptor, but it's not GLP-1. GLP-1 in the body lasts 1 to 2 minutes. It sends a signal and it does its thing. So all these things that people are saying, there's an element of truth to them, but it's not the full picture. Now, if you decided to take this and you understood that there are very serious possible side effects, not to mention, we've just talked to Krista. We just talked about the woman who passed away from stomach paralysis. Like
gastroparesis. Yes.
And now when you look at the studies, 4 years, okay, they want you on these as a lifestyle medication. When is that potentially you that these failures could happen to? Like, and this is the thing that blows my mind is that nobody's looking at the big picture. And I'm not anti-medication. I'm not anti-science, but the context matters. And when 17-year-old girls are starting to push Retatrutide, that's a whole other conversation, which I sent you a video, Mark, about my breakdown of Retatrutide. And anybody that wants to know this, go to Ben Bigman's breakdown of Retatrutide. He breaks it down in his Ben Bigman way, which is very non-judgmental, just the facts. But what I saw was, oh my Lord, now what? So,
Yeah.
we talked about this, Mark, years ago now. When you understand the incretin hormones, that there's 4 of them that work in synergy with insulin and glucagon, but the 4 incretin hormones, they all have a job and they all work synergistically together. So you have GLP-1, GIP, which is GIP, which is sort of like the glucose side of the incretins, the stomach, the fullness. And then you have peptide YY and cholecystokinin, which are kind of the fat side of the things. It's just keeping it really simple. I said, they're going to stack these. They're going to stack them to the point
That's
where
what
people,
they done.
and that's exactly what they've done. People don't understand. Tirzepatide is GIP and GLP-1. They're throwing a bunch of signals. And how is your body, like what is happening when these signals are running rampant? And we all know, if you don't have if you have an electrical system and you have cables and you don't have transducers or transmitter, like capacitors, the stuff to handle the signal, you blow out something. Look at your fuse box, right? If you overload your fuse panel, you have a safety shutoff. What's your body? So you're sending a signal. There's a receiver and a transmitter. What's happening to those with an overloaded signal? This is the craziness.
That's crazy. And it's a triple whammy with the Retatrutide. It's
Exactly.
just awful. It's that fire hose again. You're just blasting. It can only be harmful. And I cannot see a happy ending to this.
Yeah. And I mean, and this is the thing with the Retatrutide studies, like it's working like, I can't remember what it was, about whatever the time frame was. Retatrutide's at like 29% of body fat loss of
Yes.
This is crazy.
That's way up there.
Whatever the time period was, Retatrutide. But the problem is, well,
It's
the
52
glory,
weeks, I think it was. Yeah.
the glory of the medical system is it fixes a fatty liver. Okay, well, sure. But what's nourishing the liver? Right? It's one thing to take away the glycogen and the fat stores in the liver to get your liver okay. But there's going to be a point where if you're not nourished, what do you think that does?
Oh, you're in bits. Your health just goes downhill big time.
And for all the people out there that don't realize that glucagon is pretty much responsible, and I'm trying to keep this as layman as possible, but it's in charge of gluconeogenesis. So it's the yin to insulin's yang. But insulin is putting energy into cells. You keep the insulin down. Glucagon's taking energy out of the cells. Eventually, over time, these things work synergistically and in balance. And somebody who's just taking Retatrutide, one thing, this was a very quick trial. And we all know long-term insulin resistance does damage. Well, what happens when your glucagon is firing on all cylinders?
Exactly.
Analog. This is the opposite of type 1 diabetes, man. Like, this is wild.
Oh, it's crazy, Tony. I mean, we've been speaking about this for a very, very long time. It's just like, when are we going to get to the stage and we just start asking people questions like, maybe that the food that you're consuming at the moment is not working?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this is where we're going at the moment, because everybody's just focusing on one objective at the moment, and that's calories, the cholesterol model, the insulin resistance model, and nobody's talking about the root cause. Exactly. And nobody talks about, okay, well, why we have a massive crisis at the moment in the world, where it's type 2 or fatty liver disease, or whether it's obesity. It's just like, where's the solution? And you made a very, very good point earlier about, okay, if we were to go on these and we were to do microdoses, because this is what we're hearing at the moment, where is the cutoff point? Is there a cutoff point? Because there isn't. That's not what I'm saying.
It's going to end in death. Sorry, to be a harbinger of
that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are not been given the information. They've been saying that you're going to be on this for the rest of your life. Like, I only had this in one of the comments today. This lady's been taking this Retatrutide now for a long, long time now, and she's saying that it saved her life. And I'm like, first of all, you're not broken. I don't care what you say, you are not broken. The reason why you were never getting the results is because you were focusing on the wrong problem. You were getting the same advice, and the definition of insanity is just going back to the same people over and over and over again and just coming out with the same outcome. This is the reason why they said, right, okay, you're vulnerable, you're weak, we know what to do here. You don't know how to solve this. We don't have the experts to help you do this. We have all these people all over the world, dietitians, nutritionists, that are meant to be looking after you. But even though we trained these people can't help you. But guess what we'll do? We'll bring out the solution for you. So I think you mentioned this at the weekend. They're feeding you the problem. And then when you're in a situation where you're really, really struggling, don't worry. We'll have you sorted. And it's an absolute disgrace.
We have a medicine for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you know,
The
like
whole cycle.
we talked about it, like they're giving us the poison. And I got some comments back of that video that I did, is they give us the poison, they give us the cure, and they they send you on your way. People are like, well, just don't eat it. That's not the point. They're making these things with consumption in mind.
Of course.
There's no other way. So when you're getting fully distracted and this stuff is available at all times, and then they have this beacon of hope, this way out, to just give yourself the excuse of being a glutton and neglecting your own health. But now this is the way. And all the people, it's like this paradox of healthy people die too. Well, are they? Like, how? We don't know that. Like, even during the pandemic, when they started spouting off about, well, healthy people are dying from it too. We don't know their metabolic health. We don't know what's going on under the hood. And this is the same thing with GLP-1s. What do? What's the screening? You're screening, you go to a doctor, and what do? They probably test your blood pressure. They see how overweight you are. They test your cholesterol. So look at that. That's probably an invitation to give yourself 5 medications, and we'll try you on GLP-1. We'll start with Ozempic, and we'll start with a low dose to see how you do. And it starts working well. What do? They up the dose.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, all we are to these people are lab rats.
Yeah.
That's what we are, and they're treating us that way. And it's like we have to take the initiative on our own here.
And when you look at Krista's story, for instance, Krista DeWeese, guys, go check her story out, go check things. This is what overdosing is. So she was given a dose that would have been somebody that was on it for a year, we'll say, right away. So whoever made the mistake, whether the pharmacist even told her, she's like, this is weird. This is a very high dose. And of course, what do we all say? The doctor is there for me. Why would they do this?
Yes, you trust it. Yeah.
So this dose stopped her heart 4 times. That is possible. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to everybody, but if that is possible right away, would you like to be one of the 0.01% of the people that happens to? Because that is possible. Now, the lady that we talked about, Mark, the 74-year-old lady that died from gastroparesis and some stomach seizure, that's the other extreme. When does that happen? So if you're somewhere in the middle, white knuckling through nausea and cramps, is that what do they tell you? Well, it's just the side effects. Can you bear through it? If you can't, we'll just lower the dose. Like, they don't think about all these problems. And if you look at the trial studies, those side effects were pretty much prevalent in everybody. But there was certain people that could not do it anymore because it got way too serious. And then when the people died in the study, what was the cohort criteria? Heart disease, like obesity, not diabetic. That was the caveat. It wasn't diabetes, but a lot of them were pre-diabetic. And we know pre-diabetes is diabetes. The disease is happening. So this is where it gets nuts, man. And how many people out there, Mark and Victoria, you guys, I'm sure you talk to them all the time, are type 2 diabetics walking around that are undiagnosed.
Yes. Oh, yeah. A large percentage of the population.
Then they go and buy these injections or these drugs off, from the black market.
Mm-hmm.
What then? And that's the danger.
Yeah.
And now you have 17-year-old girls pushing Retatrutide as a the craziest part is I get it. Like, we talked about it. If she's not losing weight, we have this, and this comes back to your points, Mark, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get over the weight loss bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's about your health at the end of the day. And
But what frustrates me, Tony, is that, like you said, we have these young women now that are selling this, and this to me now is frightening. This is really, really frightening, because
Well, it's illegal too.
it is illegal. But what frightens me about it is that they shouldn't be thinking this way.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes,
mean? They should not be thinking this way at all. If anything, you should be thinking about this probably when you're a little bit older. Like when you're that age, you should be going through college. You should be enjoying your life. You should be traveling the world. Like, this is where the situation is. And I know a few people in the industry that they're overweight themselves and they're selling this stuff. And I'm like, well, listen, you have a problem here. Like, what you should do is you should reach out to a coach, because you're the one that's dealing with the problem here.
Yeah.
So you haven't got any right to go on social media and tell people how to lose weight when you can't do it your fucking self.
yes, very
You
good
know what I
point.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what drives me crazy. I'm like, listen, look at yourself. Now, I know it's not all about body image. I get it. It's not all about body image. But I cannot take someone seriously if you're telling me to lose weight and you're obese yourself. How? I don't care how nasty that sounds. I will never take anybody seriously. You might have the best knowledge, but I'm sorry, you must be able to put it in place. You have to. You can't walk around. Sorry, Tony. You can't just walk around with all this amazing knowledge. But don't get me wrong. Look at Barkay. I mean, Barkay is in amazing shape, but he's not the rippest guy on social media. But my God, the guy's knowledge is unbelievable. You look at Ken Berry as well. Ken Berry's not in the best shape, but his knowledge is unbelievable.
But they look healthy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Same with Ben Bigman. I mean, the guy's incredible.
Yeah.
He speaks very, very well. So I'm not saying it's not all about, I'm not saying it's all about body image. I'm just saying that if someone comes to me, or if I see somebody on social media that's clearly obese, that's saying, okay, listen, I have the solution for you to lose weight. This is what it is. I'm like, listen, this is a scam. You're the one here that needs to get the help.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the dietitian that we talked about, last Sunday. I mean, it's the same thing. You're eating your bowl of carbs and you're overweight, and you're telling people that that's okay. And that's where it gets like the hardest part about all this stuff is that I believe this is my tinfoil hat's coming on here, because once you see these patterns, it all makes sense, because they shamed us for being big in the 80s. Then they brought out processed food like it was never, like, we've never seen. Like the transition from the low fat craze from the 80s into the 90s, into the food availability, the skip the dishes, the Uber Eats, all that stuff is designed for us to have access to these distractions at all costs. Then they celebrated obesity. And you remember in the news, like all these celebrities, like, oh, it's okay to be fat.
Lizzo, all that.
And they're attacking the personalities, but it's not. This is the metabolic health, or the health of people, where there is always shades of gray, man. There can be skinny people that are like tofu, fat on the inside. There can be bigger people that are healthy. But what is the big picture trying to project? Now, they've just told everybody, this is the wildest part. They just told everybody it's okay to celebrate your bigness, but yet take the Ozempic.
Yeah.
Well, Oprah, if you've spent your life battling weight and you came to grips with your bigness, but you've always been in a constant battle, and now Ozempic is the way out of it, what is this messaging going on? And it's frightening. And I believe this is by design. Like, all these companies own the same shit.
Yeah, and like when you look back at what happens, I think her name is Gillian Michaels. Is that the woman's lady in America? I mean, she did this round table in front of all these obese ladies, and they all came after her, and they were all convinced that, listen, you cannot talk this way. We all have a genetic disorder.
Yeah.
This is a disease. And she was trying to convince them, like, listen, you have got to get to the root cause. And every single one of these females were saying, no, there's something wrong with me. I need to go and get surgery. I need to go and get a GP.
God,
this is what the round table was about. There must have been around 30 women that came after her on this. This episode is amazing. I would highly recommend everybody go and watch. It's a 2-hour episode. It was basically a round table. All the obesity ladies came after this woman. Literally, they came after her. And she said, right, I'm going to deal with each one of you for about 5 or 10 minutes. And it was literally abuse after abuse after abuse. And all she was trying to do was just get to the root cause and try and help these people. But because you're in that situation and because you're so addicted to that problem, you are not going to give that up. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when you're trying to help people. It switches into anger mode straight away. I'm protecting this. I have to protect my food. You know, because they don't understand it's so powerful.
Don't take it away from me.
Don't take it away from me. Exactly.
I have somebody that comes to my meditations, and she's a diabetic and she's taking Ozempic, and I was like, I can't. She is so wrapped up in hopelessness that she can't see the forest through the trees, so to speak. I even tell, like, I reversed my pre-diabetes. It just goes right over her head because there's that stigma. Well, that's you.
That's you. You're different. Yeah.
And it comes back onto the sugar thing, man. Like everybody's so convinced that carbs aren't a problem that they don't see the fact that what it does. And this food noise doesn't exist. It's man-made. Food noise shouldn't. Tell me one other animal in nature that freaks out because they didn't get their worm or they didn't get their bugs.
Yeah.
They find it. They're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Every animal knows exactly what to eat, when to eat it, how to migrate toward it. And they're okay when they have to, hibernate or when they have to migrate.
Yeah.
We are I mean, it's obvious that all this man-made stuff is disrupting the balance of nature for sure.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned, sorry, Victoria, I'm glad you mentioned the food noise because, like, Tony, as well as I do, and Victoria, you know the same. Like, it's not food noise, it's food addiction.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. It's like, why are you addicted to food in the first place? And the only way you're going to know this is by taking the damn thing away. Take it away for about 3 or 4 days, and you will see how powerful this shit is.
Hey, just try fasting for 8 hours.
Yeah. You're going to be struggling. You're going to be panicking. You're going to be we only spoke about this on a previous episode. Like, you're going to be in that flight or flight situation. It's going to cause massive, massive stress in the body. Your body doesn't want to be in this situation. This is when you're going to get chronic inflammation. Your blood sugar is going to go straight to the roof. You're going to be craving all this sugar. Yeah. It's like, guys, this is what we're looking at here.
And sorry, Victoria, go ahead.
It's enormous. It is tremendous. It is bigger than we can imagine, and it's enforced. And it's getting worse. I saw an advertisement this week for how they're combining the laboratory meat with real meat and sausage and selling it as a compliment. It's just ridiculous. It's enormous, and it is addiction. And it's going to take. We need to do something while we still can, while we still have the right. Well, we still have the access, or we still have the opportunity to change and get rid of all this crap, because it's an onslaught that's just tremendous.
And see, the thing is, the food that we have now, that's been here for the last 50 years, it's nowhere near the same food that we had over 100 years ago. So when people come back to me and say, well, you're getting food, you're still getting complex carbohydrates, you're still getting vegetables. Okay, you might have a point there, but if we had this conversation 200 years ago, I'd say fair enough. But it's not the same now, guys. I mean, it's in packets now. You know what I mean? It's been engineered now. Yeah. It's like, it's not coming out of the ground.
Everywhere.
It's not, the ground is dead, man. The soil. It's all the soil.
That's what I'm saying. When you look
it's all been bought up by Bill Gates.
So everything is literally against us at the moment. They're getting us from everywhere at the moment.
Yeah. And I mean, for all the people out there that might hear this that I feel you, like, because we're talking about things because, from our perspectives. And I get it. Like, if you take this drug, and I mean, we've all experienced our own degrees of sugar addiction. We've all admitted it online. It's been part of our lives.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if I was my 25 years ago self could take something that actually gives me calm and quiets down the noise, I can understand that. But why is it happening? What is happening when that happens? If you're not nourishing your body, does it change? Like, I've said this before, if you had a drug to not make you thirsty, does that mean you're not going to be dehydrated? That doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
You just have to look, you take a drug, you don't drink water, but your body still needs it. Your body still needs to be hydrated. And that's the thing. We take away this calorie bullshit and it's nourishment. So when you're eating less shit, is that a good thing? Because you're not eating any good things.
We're so used to that. I mean, this goes back to ancient Western civilization, back to the ancient Greeks who pretty much, in our awareness, developed allopathic medicine. When you don't feel good, you take something. That bad feeling's going to come back, and then you take some more. It's either alcohol or it's some form of medication, or
Yeah.
you eat carbs, some sweet food, things will make it. It's always put something in to fix it. It's not fix it, not
Yeah.
go to the root cause.
Exactly.
It's
And
ingrained.
that's like, I mean, I have a theory and it's only time's going to tell, but the more dependent you are on this and the less nourishment that you're providing, the more serious and quicker the health problems are going to come when you're on these GLP-1s. And it's just basic. It's not rocket science. It's you need nourishment. If you don't get it, it's only a matter of time. We're resilient. We've all seen it. We've all seen people survive crazy things. That's not the point. The point is what happens when you're that 0.1% because you didn't understand that you have to nourish your body regardless. And I mean, even Ben Bickman saying this is a very serious crutch that you have to understand. This is not to walk with. This is to eventually lead to be able to walk alone. And if you don't have that mindset, because that's the problem, that's the mainstream now is just normalizing this stuff like it's and I'm sorry, but I've had a lot of disagreements with some doctors that are saying, well, it's anti-inflammatory. Well, but you know what is anti-inflammatory? Not eating shit.
Yes. Hello.
Right? So
it starts from the gut, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like what you feed the gut, that's where it all starts from.
And then I've heard like on these forums, like women are yelling at me because their menopause symptoms went away. And I'm like, it's because you're keeping the insulin down.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're not eating 8 times a day and you start eating once or twice, there's your insulin. That's the insulin. Sure.
But that's diet. You can do it with diet.
But that's why the hormones, and when we talk more about hormones, that's why it's very, very important, because this has nothing to do with willpower. A lot of people struggle on a diet because they're convinced that, oh, I wasn't disciplined enough, or they'll get these fucking coaches that will tell them you didn't try hard enough. Yeah. You need to try hard enough. So the coaches are blaming you.
Yeah.
These are the stories that I've heard in the past. My coach told me I wasn't watching my calories enough. I wasn't training hard enough. You should have went back to him and told him to fuck off.
Yeah. And I mean,
because honestly,
when I'm working with people, Mark, like everybody's a puzzle, and it's not necessarily that there's a right or wrong thing, but everybody's way to it is, people have to understand when you're burnt out your nervous system, that matters. I mean, super stress. And that's why we talk about it. Like, you don't go carnivore 0 to hero. Like it's probably not a good thing. You're going to lose your mind. Well, it's the same thing with sugar. I mean, some people can do it, cut it out, see what happens. And if you lose your shit, you might have to wean some and have some like eventually, baby steps. But this is the thing, like these drugs just they cut off all the work. And come on, man. If you mess with every time, even in our environments, like ask the Australians about the cane toads. Ask like in Vancouver, in BC, we have this beautiful forest green. They introduced pine beetles. It's all red now. They've just decimated the forest, which I think is probably on purpose. And now we have a bunch of wildfires, but it's the same thing. When you mess with Mother Nature, it eventually comes to catch up. And all these things are shortcuts. And if you're using it as a shortcut, there's a trade-off. And, it's messing with hormones. There's always it's understanding the balance and understanding why they're not working. Not more of it will be better.
Absolutely. And now we need to talk about what you're actually losing, because we've all seen it. You mentioned this at the very, very beginning, Tony, about the Ozempic face, and we know what we're all talking about here. But talk us through the process, because this is where we're seeing people get extremely thin,
Yeah.
And this is where we're going wrong. Like there's no muscle mass, there's no muscle definition. It's just extremely thin.
That's where, this is a big problem too, because a lot of times the advice is just exercise through it. Like, as long as you're active and as long as you're working out, you'll be okay. That is not frailty. That is not sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is a nutrition thing. It's a protein thing. It's an amino acid thing. And when they're throwing numbers out there with Ozempic, it's like they're talking up to 40% lean tissue loss, not just muscle, bone density. And this is where people gets muddy, because that 40%, you're going to fall under that spectrum. And we know, Mark, if you're not getting enough leucine, if you're not getting enough essential amino acids, eventually your body's borrowing all the other amino acids from places, and that's going to induce that perpetual frailty loop. And that's the thing, that the tissue, that's the Ozempic face, because it doesn't distinguish between things. It's like, we know body fat's not a muscle. It's general. You can't do crunches and lose your gut. You have to take care of your body fat percentage as a whole. And it's the same way with Ozempic, like the same way with the GLP-1s. You need to be nourished, and you need to be fully, like, to have muscle protein synthesis, to hold and keep your muscle, you require a certain amount of amino acids. Now, we can argue all day long about what those are, but I'll tell you what, if you're not getting it, eventually it's going to catch up to you. And that's the other side of this. The faster that you're doing this progression, and the faster the weight's coming off, and you're not implementing a proper nutrition plan or an exercise plan to keep your muscles active, that's progressively, your weight loss is not a win. That is that's catastrophe, actually. Because if you look at muscularly longevity, now I'm not talking about bodybuilders. I'm talking about people that are, that have a good body fat percentage, that are lean, that are strong throughout life. That is longevity. So that's the other thing they can't study, because when does your frailty catch up? When will they call this caused by the GLP-1? Is it cutting off 10 years of your life because now you're frail, your bones are brittle? Like, but no, you're genetically, you got osteoporosis. It's genetic. Bullshit. And that's
it's like, honestly, Tony, I mean, you're shouting it from the rooftops. It's amazing to hear this, because I've been shouting this myself for a very, very long time, that we're seeing so many women and men in their 50s become very, very frail because of this. And the one macronutrient that everybody's cutting down at the moment, because everybody's preaching towards fiber at the moment, is protein. And we did an episode on this, myself and you, a couple of weeks ago, when we spoke about what we think is the most important macronutrients for our body. It's not fat. I believe it's protein. And I believe this is the main reason for it, because a lot of people, their protein intake is actually going down as they get older. And if they are consuming protein, they're consuming poorly availability proteins. It's like
and
veganism,
they're consuming carbs too.
It's like
I sent you that video about a dietitian.
Protein powders and stuff like that.
And theoretically, absolutely bang on, in my opinion, Sean Baker. This is if you are on a GLP-1, you better be on the carnivore diet. Because every gram of food stuff that you're putting in your body must count. Because if it's not, and that's where so fiber isn't going to fix anything in these situations. If anything, it's going to dehydrate you and cause more gastric problems. And that's the whole other side, is like, they're telling you to eat fiber. And this is the thing that drives me nuts, is like, people say adequate protein. What the hell does that mean? In the nutrition schools and in the mainstream, adequate protein is so far removed from required protein. And in my opinion, as we age, especially seeing frailty and seeing the elderly not eat as much, this becomes a very important thing, where you're sacrificing the essential nutrients for a bunch of crap that does nothing. So I'm not saying the microbiome is not important. I'm not saying that there may be some benefits to some fiber somewhere, but if you're sacrificing your essential nutrients, especially your essential amino acids, to fill up with stuff that does nothing, where is that going to lead you?
Exactly.
And we all know what happens to the elderly when they fall and break their hips. This is what I'm talking about. And how do you know, being a 50-year-old woman that wants to do Ozempic to lose the last 10 pounds, that's not degrading your bones because you're eating like shit?
It's going to do that. Yes. Yeah.
And this is all that, the whole perpetuating cycle. And it's frightening how many people don't realize frailty. You do not want to be frail. When you don't move, you die. If you break yourself and you can't repair yourself, you die. And I actually just heard a kind of a controversial with Andrew Kutnick and Lane Norton. Lane Norton jumped on.
I seen that today.
Lane Norton jumped on and said, collagen's not leucine. It's blah, 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 blah. You should be doing. And this is so far removed from like, has nothing to do with natural real food.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the comments I put on it. Yeah, I put that comment
exactly
on it.
The amount of leucine you need eating a real ancestral
exactly
meat-based diet. And the collagen is a side effect because we make glycine. So that's sort of like collagen's high in glycine, but we can drink bone broth. You can drink meat stock. You'll get
exactly. Yeah.
So, and that's the other thing, which we can, if you want to go there, the glycine and the glyphosate. Every time, if you're eating a bunch of stuff that's sprayed with glyphosate, they don't know it's made from glycine.
Exactly.
Is that disrupting our natural glycine production? I mean, I would probably agree with that, because so all the women that are, but this was the point, sorry, that I was trying to make with this. Kind of true, because all the women that are supplementing collagen in lieu of real complete protein, that can be a problem. So if you're on these,
it says on the package it's not a full protein.
Yeah. And collagen, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When you look at the collagen powder, I put that comment up earlier on, and I said, well, listen, we're looking at the wrong message here, because it's not bioavailable. Like you're better off having organs and just animal meats. And I was like, okay, we're losing ourselves here a little bit. Yeah. Like we're talking about, and I'm a big fan of Andrew's. Like Andrew's I'm a big fan of his. But I just when I hear both of them talking, and both of them are doctors, I was like, okay, well, this is the reason why you guys are doctors.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a coach. I'm a nutrition coach. So you guys are looking at it from a scientific background. I'm looking at it from an optimal health background. And I think you are as well, Tony.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we need to go. We're losing ourselves a little bit at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm a big fan of Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. I'm a big fan of Dr. Donald Lehman. Donald Lehman's not any kind of diet guy. He's just a, like, I'm just looking at he studies protein. He studies the amino acids. He's pretty much the guy that was like 2.5 grams of leucine is that rate limiting amino acid that you need for muscle protein synthesis. But unfortunately, when people hear muscle protein synthesis, they think building muscle. Mm-hmm. No, it's maintaining muscle, which is just
basic maintenance. Yeah,
it's like the building blocks that you need to keep your muscle. Like we've all experienced in our lives, probably strength loss or different gains, whatever. But as we get older, the most important thing is to not lose your lean
exactly, because more than likely, as you get older, our requirement to build muscle goes down.
Exactly. You
know what I mean? So when you get past 60s, you're probably going to be building maybe a pound or two a year, and that's not a lot of muscle.
And there's an evolutionary biologist, if anybody's interested in it's fascinating stuff. He studies fruit flies, but he studies the genetics. And he can study 1,000 generations in a short amount of time. But what he was doing with fruit flies is he was giving them different diets of where the fruit flies would be in their natural species. And what he came up with was the older you get, the closer to a species-specific diet you must get to in order to live to the full potential of your species, which makes sense. It explains why children are a little bit more resilient. It explains why we sort of get sicker. And he's pretty much, I would say, he's like a paleo guy. But and people like that, you can't compare humans to flies. I'm not comparing humans to flies. I'm comparing probabilities of diets based on species and how it works. And it makes sense. The older we get, the more close to a species-specific diet, we can argue what it is, but the longer you live. So there was a point where he was studying these flies where if he introduced back the species diet, because they all eat different things, bananas and fruit, whatever he did, they would be okay. So there was a certain point that was like a point of no return, that as long as they got back to their diet, they would live the long. It's fascinating stuff. His name's Dr. Michael Rose, but that sort of puts in perspective. And when we're looking at frailty and these GLP-1 medications, who's their demographic? Ladies, usually into their 60s, having, after pregnancy, weight that can't come off. These are the people that need the protein more than anybody. And, like we mentioned, fat, the same thing with fat during menopause, just let alone women's hormonal cascade. Fat is so important. What happens when you stop eating less and you just start eating less shit? All these things are a problem. And that's the thing. We can't really pinpoint one single thing, but where it leads, man, you don't want to be on the receiving end of a bad experience because you were neglecting your nutrition. And that's
100%.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
100%.
what's happening. Yes.
That's exactly what it is. Well, Tony, we want to be respectful of your time, but I know we could speak about this for another hour, but like, what's the message? What's the final message you want to give out?
Just learn about, ask questions before you decide, is this a good idea? And I understand that there's a lot of people out there that we get sucked into life. And, just because all your friends are doing it, just because somebody's had some success, just because it's easy, that does not make it right. And there's a lot of influencers right now that are saying, well, maybe there's some benefits. I will tell you what the best benefit to your life is to find your way to a proper species, human specific diet as best you can, and let the body take time, because there's no quick fixes in nature. Every time we mess with Mother Nature, she's going to punch you in the face. And that's just the matter of time before it happens. So,
and I think the final message from myself, and I don't know about yourself, Victoria, but the human body is fully capable of healing itself if you put the right steps in place.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I fully agree with that.
You don't need any medical interventions. If anything, that's going to be a last resort. And in my opinion, I don't even think you'll need the GLP-1 as a last resort. I just think you just need to be patient. I think that's what's going on in the world at the moment, is that they just don't want to be patient. They just want it now. They want it in 6 months. Whereas, as I said earlier on, that it could take you 2 years to lose a lot of weight. So what? Yeah. So what? At least you're doing it the right way. Yeah. You're putting your health first. Yeah. Everything's gonna feel fantastic. And sorry, Tony, but when you lost the weight, more than likely you're gonna keep it off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. You know what I mean?
Sorry, man. I just want to say one more thing about plateaus as well, because people seem to jump on these things when they're on a weight loss plateau. Sometimes plateaus aren't a bad thing, everybody. Yeah. When you're keeping your muscle and regaining bone density, that stuff's heavier. So a plateau is not necessarily a bad thing. And a plateau might be an adjustment period where your body's not safe. Once you get through some things and you get calm, the stress levels go down, your body adapts, those plateaus can break through with just a minor tweaks. Like, just everybody freaks out about these plateaus forever. There's a lot of levers to pull. And, just going to GLP-1 because you're frustrated, think about how you feel first.
Well said, buddy. Well said. Yeah. Where can people go to find you, Tony?
Well, I'm all over the place these days, but I have a podcast with Mark. We are the Meat of the Matter podcast, live on Sundays. You can find it on YouTube at MOTM 2025. And of course, all over social media, I am Tony_Food for Thought. And if anybody wants to reach out for me for any kind of help, I deal with a lot of stuff that's beyond diet, with nervous system and some mental stuff that I think is the other side of this. When people start cutting out stuff, crazy things happen, and it's I believe everybody's a puzzle. We just got to figure out your pieces. But you can find me at TonyStewartCoaching.com.
And is it the same name on YouTube and TikTok?
Yeah, Tony_Food for Thought. And of course, if you're looking to Life After GLP-1s. I know there's a lot.
Mhm.
lifeafterglp1s.com. We're creating a platform where there's guides, there's assessments, there's a bunch of stuff that's free. All you got to do is go there, sign up. And, you know, if you know somebody that's thinking about it, if you know somebody is thinking about stopping, if you know somebody that needs to stop, these are just tools and things that we're implementing. There's meditations. We're trying to get a platform for people just to go to that have some support. And of course, you can reach out anytime.
Amazing, Tony. Honestly, and guys, I would highly recommend reach out to Tony because he knows this area better than anybody out there. He speaks very, very well. Watch a few of his videos. He's very, very passionate about this as well as we are. Just watch a few of his videos. You'll understand what I'm saying. So, Tony, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I know this was short notice. I only messaged you this morning about this, but we really appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Well,
Yes,
I love you
thank
both. I love you both, and anytime, man. It was my pleasure, and thanks for we need to keep these chats going because I think they're going to be more important more than ever as these
Yeah, it's
days
just going
come.
to get worse. Yeah.
I don't, and I mean, I'm sorry if I'm doom and gloom, but I see this being a very serious problem in the very near future, and you know, we're the heretics that have to scream, right? That's it.
We do.
Absolutely. We'll speak soon, buddy. I'll speak to you in a few days.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
See you soon, buddy. Bye-bye.
If you get value from this podcast, please hit subscribe, drop a like, comment, and share this episode. It really helps spread the word on Carnivore. Want support on the diet? Email ennismark93@gmail.com for a free consultation.